For many of us, medication is what makes life possible, or at least much, much easier. But proper administration of medication is just as important as the medication itself. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how to perform a med pass and all the things that you need to keep in mind while you perform it. So first let me say, I'm sorry. I really tried to make this subject matter as watchable as possible, so just stay with me, we'll all make it through this together. First, we'll start off with the rights. These are the things you need to check and make sure are right. Different people will tell you there are different numbers of rights, but for the sake of keeping it simple, we're just going to be focusing on the ones most important to you. This leaves us with 8 rights. The rights are right person, right time, right medication, right dose, right expiration, right route, right documentation, and right to refuse. A lot of these are kind of self-explanatory, and the last 2 rights aren't actually things you need to check so much as something you just need to remember, but we'll revisit that in a minute. The first thing you need to check is that you have the right person. You need to make sure that the medication you have is intended for the person that you are going to be giving the medication to. Because, duh. Everybody needs to be taking their own medication, not somebody else's. So for safety's sake, just double check that the name on the medication packet matches the name on the prescription sheet for the person you are going to be giving medication to. If it doesn't match, then none of what comes next is going to make any sense anyway. Next comes right time. Different meds need to be taken at different times, and different people will most often have different meds they need at different times, so make sure they're getting the right stuff for whatever time it is. Once you've confirmed these things, make sure you're looking at the right medication, because again, duh. If somebody takes the wrong kind of medication, or takes the right kind of medication, but at the wrong time of day, it's a bad time for everyone involved. This kinda goes hand in hand with right number 4, right dose. Lots of medications come in different doses. Sometimes those different pills look exactly the same at a glance, but they have different concentrations of the active ingredient. Whatever it says on the prescription sheet, just make sure that's what's coming out of the medication packet, the right drug, and the right dosage. Now, we've all done a good job so far. We just made it past the halfway point, but I want a break. So here is an adorable kitty hugging her favorite toy. Next comes right expiration. Just about everything expires in one form or another, and just like everything else we take into our bodies, drugs can expire too. Using expired medication has extremely negative side effects on whoever takes them, whether they show up immediately or build up over time and cause problems down the line. Just always make sure to check that the meds you're handling are current. Next comes right route. This is one that surprisingly few people know the full importance of. Lots of people seem to think that if a drug is getting into the bloodstream, then that's good enough, but this is not the case. Getting a drug into your system in the wrong way can reduce its effectiveness, or bypass the liver and kidneys and make you dead. So yeah, follow the instructions. Next is right documentation. This one's easy enough. Whenever you give out medication, document it. Even if it's something seemingly benign, like melatonin. Shouldn't cause any problems. Still, document it. This is a lot more important than people think. Not only would a 15-minute check not be possible without documentation, if anything does go wrong with a resident's health, we need to know what they've been taking. This isn't necessarily under the suspicion that somebody gave them the wrong meds. Sometimes everybody does their job right, and stuff still goes wrong. In that instance, we need to know what's been going on, so we need a paper trail. The last right, as I mentioned, is right to refuse. This one's real easy. Just remember, the resident has the right to refuse to take any medication prescribed to them. When it comes time to take their meds, you can explain to them what they're going to be taking, how it'll help them feel better, and what it'll do to them if they don't take it, but you can't force them to take it. If you explain everything to them and they refuse to take their meds, that's their right. Just make sure to contact your administrator if this ever happens. There's an incident report they need to file and some other paperwork, but those things aren't your problem, so we're not going to cover them. Alright, we made it past the most boring part. Woo-hoo! Who wants some more adorable animals?
Oh, yeah!
Now, On to what it'll look like in your day-to-day. First, wash your hands, the full 20 seconds, with all the different hand motions and whatnot. Then, take out the MAR folder and grab the medication packets. Find the sheet in the binder that's for the resident in question, and find the medication packet for the correct time of day. Check the rest of the rights and then discuss the medication with the resident. It may sound something like this.
Are you John Doe?
Yes.
I have here that you're supposed to take 25 milligrams of Benadryl. Do you know why you're supposed to take this medication?
Yes.
Can you tell me why you're supposed to take this medication?
Because I have allergies and I'm all stuffy.
Hand the meds over to them, and then move the binder to an area with better lighting so it's easier for me to film, and sign off on it. 15 minutes later, someone else will come perform the 15-minute check. They'll go over the documentation you went over and filled out to verify that the right medication was given. This is just for the purposes of getting a fresh pair of eyes on your work. Everyone misses something from time to time, so this prevents that. And 15 minutes is a small enough length of time that if something was missed, it can be corrected without throwing anything off. The person who performs the check will sign the sheet under the better lighting as well, and the job is done. There's also a separate category of medicines that include things like allergy pills or sleep aids, and these are as-needed medications. The resident will say something like, "Can I have something to help me sleep?" or "Can I have something for my allergies?" Run it by an admin to make sure it's okay, and if it is, then dish it out. The paperwork is a little bit different as well. Fill out the relevant info, and then the 15-minute check will be performed shortly after. Alright, we did it! We made it through to the very end, so here is a dancing turtle for no reason.